right, we're glad to welcome you back to Salt TV. It's still Sunrise and Salt of the Nation here in Abakaliki, the state capital of Ebonyi State. And like we did tell you earlier, we're going to be having this segment of talk. Let's know what is going on as it has to do with export promotion strategies in Ebonyi State. Of course, Amaka is still here with me in the studio. Amaka, you're still looking your radiant self. Huh? See her. Fine girl, no pimple.
Thank you. Flesh and blood has not revealed this to you.
I hear you. All right, so we have in the house Dr. Stephen Odo. He's the DG, Ebonyi SME Development Agency. So it's always a pleasure to have you in the house.
Thank you.
I know we are ready to go to talk and talk.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and of course, you cannot talk about the export promotion without talking about standardization. And who best to talk about it other than the state coordinator of a standard organization of Nigeria here in Ebonyi State, in person of Engineer Mrs. Mary Rose Ugweche. It's a pleasure to have you in the house.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with you, Doc. When we talk about export promotion strategy, what exactly are we looking at here?
We are looking at all the strategies, all the plans, all the efforts, all the activities that stimulate exports. When I want to go to international markets in Ebonyi, I can be very casual. Can take any product, put it anywhere, even put it by the roadside, and ask, persuade people who are passing to come and buy. But if I'm talking about export, we're talking about taking our products outside the shores of the country. There are a lot of issues of rules and regulations, issues of standardizations, issues of acceptabilities. And you also know that if you are moving a product to another country, these are distant countries. I can move my product from my farm to the market the same day. And the person buys my ogo and go and cook it the same day, within hours. It is done. But when we are talking about outside the country, you have to take some days. So we need to be sure that, can I take a fresh ogo to Germany or to America or anywhere? They need to dry it. And what do they even accept? What kind of standards? And that's why we are here together, and we feel we can't do it alone. Let the woman that is in charge of standard join our voice and tell us what kind of standard we need. Because our people really need to face the reality of life. And the reality we need to face is that we cannot be contented with just local activities. We need to earn the dollars. And the only way we can earn the dollars is by taking our product, not any kind of products, so that even if it is not the one that the whites eat, our brothers who are living in the white man country also are missing some of these activities. They miss our gari, they miss our pounded yam, they miss our bono, and they miss a lot of things. So we need to satisfy them. And also, by implication, earn part of the dollars that are in there and make our lives better here and create necessary jobs and grow the economy.
All right.
My only problem with that is when he says earn part of the dollars, I'm talking about pounds and euros, and Doc is just saying earn part of the dollars. So we are not moving to
Trump has made
pounds.
the world focus only in America. So, okay, dollars, pounds, yens,
thank you.
Any part of this thing.
I'm
working for Trump.
You know, when you were talking, you said our people over there, they miss our gari, they miss our pounded yam. And my mind was just saying, so if it is just about our people missing our gari and our yam, why is Son here? I mean, why should you be here when we are discussing export promotion? What is the role of Son in this export promotion strategy?
Okay. We can't talk about exportation if standard is not discussed. So the major aspect of this exportation have to come from standardizing our product to meet with international standard, because we are talking about taking this, our agro products, across Nigeria to other nations. And Son being a member of ISO, International Organization for Standardization, certification of products through Son have access and free access to other countries, especially our African free continental trade areas, where the government have made it possible for people from other countries to trade at these areas. So I can talk about importance of sun in this exportation we are talking about. One, when we talk about standardization of these agro products, we look at what and what are those things that can make this product to attain this sun standard. And first of all, we look at the quality of those products we are talking about. Because here in Nigeria, we always say, black man, we eat anything and it doesn't affect us. But white men they don't take anything anyhow. They are sure of the quality of products they consume. And for a product to cross this country, you have to look at the quality of the products. One may ask, what are we talking about quality when it comes to a product that is coming out from our soil? Yes, we talk about quality because there are certain things you check on this product before they get the certification. One, the quality, the nutrients on the soil, on the product. We have our farm ground. Our farmers need to check before they start farming what is the soil texture. They have to test the soil. Recently, we discovered that an area in this Ebonyi state have acidic groundwater. In those areas, if you cultivate a product just normally like that, without taking consideration of the acidity of the groundwater, those products will come out with this high level of acidity. And when they are subjected to test, you will notice that they are not qualified to cross this nation. So what I'm talking about is, one, before farming those products, are we checking the soil quality? We have to test the soil. When we test the soil, we now look at what do we do. Like the area that have acidic groundwater, those people farming there supposed to go for a fertilizer that is rich in soda ash. The soda ash will neutralize the pH on the groundwater, making it possible for those products coming out from this ground to come out free of high pH. When they are subjected to test, you will not see this. So this is the importance of testing the soil before you start planting. Then after planting, before you even start planting, those fertilizers I talked about, you know the time you apply this fertilizer. Some of these components of the fertilizer still come out with this product because of the time of application of the fertilizer.
Sorry, Ma, just a pause there. You know, we are here to inform people, and the information has to be accurate, okay, so that they will understand. When you talk about certain parts of the state here in Ebonyi, I believe you're referring to Ebonyi state.
Yes.
Which part? Because if the people from that part don't know that this is what can be hindering their product from being taken outside the country, they wouldn't know what to do. So when you talk about high acidity and the soil of those areas, which area are we actually talking about? So that the people there will now be informed as to, okay, this is what we have here, and this is the next step to take.
Yeah. Okay. Afipo in particular, Afipo area have a high pH in their groundwater. So people farming in Afipo need to go for a fertilizer that is rich in ash, soda ash. Okay. Those fertilizers will help to neutralize the groundwater. So the second aspect is, what time do you apply this fertilizer? In a recent program that we held with the DG at Afibo, the same Afibo, a lady woke up and said they apply fertilizer 4 days before harvesting. And it was a shocking discovery.
Before harvesting or planting?
Harvesting.
Before harvesting, 4 days.
Vegetable. 4 days before harvesting of vegetable, you could imagine. The vegetable is coming out with this content of the fertilizer.
What's the fertilizer supposed to do in 4 days on the vegetable?
I don't know. So we need to educate our farmers on time of application of fertilizer. At least some fertilizer need to be applied 4 weeks before you start planting, so that before those products comes out, they must have exhausted the chemical component of the fertilizer, coming out free of these chemicals. Because the major reason why our products are being rejected is the trace of those chemicals in our product when they are subjected to analysis. And in sun, even if it's one particular chemical that is noticed in the product, we can't give the product a certificate. So it needs to be free from all those chemicals. So that's one aspect of it. Another aspect is, at the end of the farming season, how do you package your products? I equally asked during this sensitization, I asked them, what is one thing that Whenever you see made in Nigerian product, you will know this product is coming from Nigeria. And somebody there said packaging. We have poor packaging when it comes to finishing of our products. People goes to an extent of, if you look at product like all these infant milk, you will see a fine baby, plumpy, and the rest of them. It attracts. It might not be the milk that makes the baby to be plumpy, but the babies, people seeing the baby in the packaging material attracts them, and they felt that, okay, if I give my child this milk, my child will be plumpy as this baby. So packaging tells a lot. And in most cases,
the child actually becomes that plump.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. No, but it's true because I experienced it. If you use good products, true.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. For them to even put the baby there, they know the quality of their product. And know that any baby using it will come out being so. So our packaging is too poor. You see our product with packaging that is, okay, somebody that wants to export something like a vegetable oil, you did not sell the cap. The vegetable oil might end up pouring on the road, and nobody can even give you certification because it's one of the requirements when it comes to all those fluids that you need to export. So they need to know about that. They need to know that a product going out have to be traceable to the manufacturer. Some people will produce a product and the labeling information, they will write made in Ebonyi State. Where actually in Ebonyi State is the product made? You can't come to Ebonyi State, you have up to 13 local governments. Which local government actually is the product made? So you have to put the labeling information that is deep down to the house number, street, so that the product can be traceable. Such, these labeling non-conformities are one of the aspects that make our product to be rejected, because a product that cannot be traced down to the manufacturer cannot cross Nigeria. In fact, even within Nigeria, we fight it in international markets. At times when we go for market trade, when we see such products, we confiscate it in the shop and tell them to invite the owner to come and get proper sensitization on how to package this product before the product are being sold.
Okay, so I think that's a good place to leave it, because now we've moved from why sun should be here to some of the challenges that our products have when it comes to export. I'd want to speak with the DG right now, ask him a question. DG, sir, you know, when engineer was talking, my mind was just saying, not only agriculture did they export to. And I'm watching, you're the DG of Ebonyi SME Development Agency. Is it just agriculture that, you know, agricultural products? I know we're talking about non-oil exports, but is it just agricultural products that we want to send from Ebonyi to outside?
Not at all. But then in life, you must first consider your areas of comparative advantage. Our focus on agriculture is because we believe that we have a comparative advantage in agriculture. It does not mean that exclusively our interest is that we should export only agriculture. If you look at, and when we're looking at agriculture, we're also looking at the entire agricultural value chain. If you look at, you know, normally agriculture is actually very broad, and hardly most of the activities you find in our markets that you won't be traceable to agriculture that is coming from us. For instance, I wouldn't advise you to go and export Bonvita back to where it was produced. You know what I'm saying? Or export our car you see in Ebonyi.
Even though the raw material could have come from Africa, when you talk about Bonvita, the cocoa and all that, it's still agriculture.
Yeah, but you know, if you are looking at, we don't export finished goods that we got from outside back to the place we brought them. So it must be something that possibly is extracted from here, processed from here, because that's also another level that we are trying to draw the attention of our people to. The whole of Africa. I don't know, like South Africa or a few other countries that are trying to move away from direct movement of raw materials to you know, to other continents, other countries, and that is the part of the major challenges that we have, because at that raw state, our products are undervalued in terms of pricing, and where this fund comes from is from the processed products. And part of the things we are doing in export promotion is also to encourage our people that we must move away from looking at things from that raw state to a point where we now begin to talk about export of processed materials. And that poses us another challenge. And that challenge is how many industries actually are we citing that can do all this processing? I've always, you know, queried why my people should always think only hotel, think only filling stations, and so on and so forth. Nobody is thinking production. Nobody is thinking processing. And most of the things that most of the fund we actually expend in building some of these, other commercial centers like hotels and so on, can do a little of industry and create necessary jobs. Every day we cry for unemployment, unemployment, unemployment. My argument is that our ability to create jobs lies on our focus on export. Why am I saying it? It looks strange when you are emphasizing export, because a lot of people say, what is this guy talking about? But what we're saying is that you can't think export without thinking production. So each time you are talking export, you are invariably discussing expansion of the productive base of the economy. Because if you don't eat well, that's no overtea. In fact, export is business-wise like overtea to us. Because you need to feed well before you even take to the local market, talk less of taking it to the international market. So invariably, our hands are not limited to agricultural sector. But like I said, our emphasis on agricultural sector is because of the obvious comparative advantage that the Ebonyi economy in particular has over agriculture. And we believe that there are a lot of opportunities that exist in the agricultural sector. So if we focus there first, then we will be achieving some results. But any other person that is interested in going outside agriculture will also enjoy the support of the government, will also enjoy the support of the agency, and also the support of SON. SON is not limited to agriculture. So export is something that is varied. After all, His Excellency the Governor just established a football team. A new football team.
We've exported, actually.
Yes, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
yes, and we are doing very well.
But you know,
we're doing very well. So let me come. So what I'm trying to
what I want you to do is linked to what you're saying. I just want you to, help us narrow down this agriculture. Agriculture, as you said, is very vast.
Broad, yes.
There's this agriculture, farms, crops, and all of that. Can you narrow it down so that maybe, let's say I was producing fuel, and I know that where we are looking at is X. I can find a way to align. Maybe just help us narrow it down a bit so we know what particular part of agriculture.
Okay, can I come in here?
Yeah, please come in. Go
ahead. When we talk about this agriculture, this agricultural product finally ends up in a product. Let me use the example, granite. We farm granite, and granite is used in production of peanut. Recently, I think 3 days ago, I went to international market. I saw imported peanut in the market. Okay, our granite is coming out from this soil we are talking about. And it is used in production of peanuts. When recently we gathered some peanuts manufactured in Ebonyi State and sent them for analysis, and we noticed trace of all these chemicals in the peanuts. It's coming from the ground where those things are produced, where they are cultivated the granite. So we notice a trace of ash in the granite. We notice a trace of this lead in the granite. They are coming from the soil. That is why, first of all, I focused on the application of fertilizer and the rest of them. So this agricultural product ends up as a raw material for our finished products. Like granite is a raw material for production of peanuts. Then again, in some of DG's exhibition, I saw people packaging tapioca. That's abacha, our local abacha. This tapioca well packaged, can be exported. They are coming out from agricultural products and the rest of them. So these agricultural products are raw material to our finished products.
All right, I just want to come in here, the DG of SME. Recently, for the past 3 weeks or so, you've been going around, excuse me, having town hall sensitization meetings. Now, we want to know some of the fallouts from those meetings and sensitizations you've had. I know you've gone around with SON, you've even gone around with Ministry of Justice and some other agencies. What are the fallouts from these meetings?
I don't know whether the thing fell out or fell in, because
Okay, what are they falling?
Okay, maybe the falling and the fallout, all of the above.
So what I said, it was an interesting outing.
Yes.
And I'm happy that Son is here. The Nigerian Sport Promotion Council was also with us.
Yes.
And the Ministry of Justice and the Judiciary was with us. So in a proper assessment, you assess from the objective. The question is that what was the objective of setting out the sensitization program? First is what we are discussing, that we want our people to be conscious of the opportunities, that exist, the potentialities that exist in the state, especially in terms of our ability to actually, expand our base, move our materials beyond this shore. Because sometimes we see a lot of persons that will say, oh, I have this product, I don't even know where to sell it. And we're now saying that even when the local market is not enough for you, there is opportunity for you to, go to, other market outside the shores of the country. And for that makes it imperative that you are not limited by the availability of market, because there are opportunities that goes beyond the state. So that we are doing. Another thing that came up during the sensitization beyond the issue of export is the issue of small claim courts. We took time to, we talked about it last time, where we are telling the SMEs that, see, within in terms of debt recovery issues, in terms of litigation surrounding transactions, that we've created a court. The Ministry of Justice has created a court, or the judiciary has created a court, where you can recover your debts without involving a lawyer, without even going to the police, because most times you find out that the police sometimes does not have that kind of legal mandate to do debt recovery for you. So you can't
to
recover.
The police is wasting your money. The money is gone.
Yes, it's what I'm saying. So, and but you can approach any of these small claim courts, which is one we have in Africa, we have in Onweke, we have in Abakaliki, and state your case in your own dialects, and provide evidence that this person is indebted to you, and the judgment is passed. And there is also a very simple time limit that within 60 days, such case must be concluded and judgment given. And the court will also influence the execution of such judgment. So it's one of the outcomes of the sensitization program. And in fact, throughout our movement across the zones, it was one of the most exciting discussions in the town hall meeting, because see people, oh, so I can get my money back without going to hire a lawyer, without going to report to the police. Another thing that came up very strongly within this period of sensitization is the issue of access to credit. I do announce that His Excellency gave us approval to access a 1 billion naira fund from the Bank of Industry for on-lending. Let me explain very well, because we are at the very level of trying to implement that program. We have an approval from the Bank of Industry to get 1 billion from the Bank of Industry. And I can also announce that we've even got an offer letter from the bank of Industry. It's just for us to do the normal administrative issues within the state, the Office of the Ministry of Finance, giving us the necessary documentation so that our such fund will be released to us. And what is our target? Our target is that the little business that wants to borrow 1 million or 2 million or 3 million naira shouldn't go to a commercial bank where he's charged at something percent interest. It is so high. And if you look at the economy, if you borrow funds at the rate of 30-something percent, it is very difficult for you to make profit. And that's why a lot of our small businesses are actually folding up. So we believe it's our responsibility as government to give them a second option and a better option. Yes, the usual theory is always to have a single-digit interest rate. But realistically, in our economy, it's becoming very difficult
to have a single digit.
And I preach this gospel of near single digits. I don't know whether it is in any dictionary anywhere, but
maybe you're creating your own dictionary.
I'm creating my own dictionary. Near single digit. I believe that anything, maybe less than 20% is good for us, comparatively speaking, looking at what is happening, what is available at other options at the commercial banks.
I thought you were considering like maybe 9.5.
It's still single now. It's still single.
No, it's near
single.
No,
above. So we believe that anything less than 20%, within 20% and below, is good for any business, considering other options that is available within the space, and we are working towards that. So it is something that a news that should be celebrated by MSMEs, so that you can walk into the agency in a short while from now and possibly access little funds. And I've always said this, and it's not funny, but we keep on saying it. They are funds meant for business, not funds meant for the completion of our houses in the village.
Or marrying more wives.
Or marrying more husbands.
Okay, one concern I do have about this sensitization that you just embarked on is, yes, it was done on the 3 senatorial zones, But we have 13 local government areas. And I know that it is not all the local government that had opportunity to attend. So are there plans to step it down to the local governments that were not able to be there and hear this?
Yeah, I would say that all the local had the opportunity, but they didn't have the capacity to attend.
Exactly. So when you don't have a capacity,
the request we are making is we made that request very, severally. The local government chairman and the coordinator should invite the agency. And we have a very robust relationship with the regulatory agencies in town. That has been an advantage for us as an agency. You remember that when we did it, the 13 local government in 2023, we went virtually with all the existing regulatory agencies. The SUN was there, and NEPC was there, CPN, NAFDAC, all of them were going with us. And even the raw material, there also are other people that we want people to understand exactly. Opportunity, the Raw Material Council of Nigeria, they're also in the state, and we work with them. So what we are requesting, or the request I'm trying to use this forum to make, is that the local government chairman should step forth and bring this team to their local government to talk to the people. Town unions can also invite people to come to their community and discuss these things. We should be proactive in trying to develop our environment and shouldn't leave everything to government. The development center coordinators, it should be part of the thing.
Coordinators are still government.
But you know,
That's what I'm saying. The coordinators should invite us.
I'm really glad you mentioned being proactive. And I'm thinking, every single time I hear Ebonyi State Small and Medium Development Agency, what comes to mind is this should be a place where I can work in practically at any time and say, so there is this training going on that I want to participate in, whether I'm paying or I'm not paying. And this issue of exports, because, sir, the truth of the matter is that even when we feel we're not producing enough for the state, let alone to export, whether locally or internationally, you find that there's a lot of wastage in the system, mostly because people do not know a thing about preservation. So we harvest the ones that we cannot sell. You don't go like that. So talking about proactiveness, can't we have the agency have those trainings? Because I don't know what I will learn in a one-day workshop or 2 days workshop. But if I bring my money to learn this thing, even when I don't want to come, when I remember that my money, I have to come. And I know that it's been structured. At this time, there is this training happening here, so I'm better able to learn, to assimilate, to ask questions, and even practice what I'm learning.
Yeah, I think I will take a part of what you've said, and I will go back and work out with our colleagues, so that we can structure a training. But we've always had a challenge, and that's why I keep on also saying that part of the responsibilities of our local governments and the development center coordinators is to provide the support, working with us. And that, in the sense that if you put on some of these trainings here, you will only servicing those within the urban areas. The man in my village may find it difficult to even see the transport to actually come over to
precisely
training. So obviously, that collaboration with the local government development centers is key.
Yeah.
Even if we're going to have a stretched 3 days training or forever, it can also be done on a local government basis. Maybe this month or this quarter, we're doing this thing at
local government.
The other quarter was doing of the thing. These agencies are willing to actually support us because that's why they are there in the States. So why I will assure you that as soon as we step out of this place, we'll try to structure a training that may be going regularly at the state for those that will be able to make it. There is also need for this local government and development center coordinators to see it as part of human capital development is key. There's no two ways about it.
Very true.
No matter what we think we are talking about, and we do not build capacity of our people to add value to the environment and add value to themselves, development will be very far. That's the thing. So I feel that, sometimes without much apologies to those who may not understand it, that we think that the only time we are doing well is when we build a bridge, when we build a road. These things are fine.
When we give 10 bags of fertilizer.
When we give 10 bags of fertilizer.
That even coming late.
But let's leave that there.
Coming late. Yes. We want. I actually want to.
So we need to build capacity.
Yes.
We need to develop skills.
Yes. I want, talking about building capacity and the human capital development and looking at it from the standard organization viewpoint. Now you discovered from what you said, the testimonials you got, about people, like the peanut issue. For me, it's scary. Now we are encouraging consumption of nuts, healthy living. And then you go to buy the same nut. This could also translate even to what they use, like cashew nuts, for instance. The other day was in the news that is one of the biggest cash out nuts products that you can have. And Nigeria has much of that. Now, what are you doing in the area of sensitization from standard organization in teaching people, not just when the agencies come, maybe like the DG now carrying you along, on your own? Do you have a mandate to go out there, not just arrest and seizure this time, but to train people, to, you know, sensitize people on the dangers inherent in some of these harmful practices? It's not just in peanuts. Even when you're eating banana, you find out that it has been phosphorized with certain agents that is harmful to our system. So what is the son doing in arresting some of these situations? Outside just you're going to seize their products. How are you sensitizing the people, especially in the rural areas? Because in urban area, you can say they're semi-saturated with information, but in the rural areas.
Okay, awareness creation is a key aspect in some activities. I think since 2022, SON was established in Ebonyi State. We have organized more than 15 training in Ebonyi here, which DG will attest to that. We have done a training that took a capacity of almost 300 persons in ICC Center. And recently, last month, we did another training that we even went direct to markets. We trained the electronic sector in the market. We went there and we sponsored for their gathering and trained them on what they need to do and what they need to look out for when they are importing all those electronics. We organized for general members of the public at ICC Center again last month. And not only that, we have indulged in sector sensitization. We have sensitized the aluminum sector of Ebonyi State. We have sensitized the vegetable oil packaging companies in Ebonyi State. We have sensitized these peanut manufacturers, and so many of them. We are taking them sector by sector, in which we organize sensitization. They will come. We bring experts from the field to come and train them on necessary processes. We equally during our factory inspection, because this certification we are talking about is not mere coming to register and they give you certificate. We go to the factory where they're producing those products. We inspect their production line, their packaging, and the rest of them. During this factory inspection, we guide them on what to do. That's a major aspect of this sensitization we are talking about. We guide them, we guide their workers. Then we guide them on how to package and the rest of them. So I can say that SON is doing very, in fact, sensitization is our key activity in Ebonyi here.
But what you just mentioned are all centered in the urban. And my concern is the rural areas, because this is where these products move first. It's the first point of call before they are moved to the urban areas where you start talking about packaging. You understand? So how are you stepping down some of these sensitizations in the rural area? And if you are not, what are the challenges? What are the issues that is making it impossible for you to get to the hard-to-reach areas of the state to sensitize these farmers? Because, I mean, basically, we are agrarian for now. So what are you doing to step down these trainings in those hard-to-reach areas?
We are working hand in hand with DG, because the 13 local governments that he went about carrying out sensitization,
yes,
we joined him in the sensitization. So we are partnering with MSMEs in order to achieve this.
Okay, so it's still the export promotion strategy on Sunrise on Salt Television. I'd like to take us back again to the state coordinator for SON. It's amazing hearing all the plans that you and the DG have to encourage people to go into exports. Before now, you were telling us some of the challenges, the drawbacks as to why people cannot export. It would be nice if you could just take a minute to touch some of those drawbacks and then talk to us, walk us through the certifications, because even if I meet all the requirements for export, if I do not have the necessary certification, I'll probably just export from my village to the next one. So would you help us walk through what certifications we need and how affordable they are? That is very key.
Okay. When we talk about certification, it has to do with, one, the product quality. That's number one. Then after the product quality, we have a robust lab at Lagos, and our DG have decentralized our lab to regions. Okay. So now it is easier for us to go to any region to carry out our analysis. So those products are picked during inspection, sampled, and sent to the lab. The product will be analyzed, and once the result comes out fine, they will start the process of certification, which involves going online using www.sun.gov.ng to...
Mama, calm down now.
Yeah, I think
start from the beginning.
www.sun.gov.ng.
Okay, that's Sun, S-O-N.
Yes.
.gov, G-O-V.
Yeah.
.ng.
Yeah. So,
is there .com after
.com.ng.
Okay, .com.ng. Thank you.
So once you key into this website, you will see our ManCap platform. You will sit at your comfort zone and do your registration. Then now download the results that comes from the lab. Once you do it, in our office, we'll see whatever you are doing. The stakeholder will be doing the registration, and in our office will be seeing the registration. We will approve once everything is true. Then you pay a token. Our fees are subsidized. SMEs, the DG have subsidized the certification of SMEs in order to ensure that those...
Which of the DGs? We are talking about DG so that we know who is taking credit for what.
The DG
Is it the DG of SMU or the DG of... No, or the DG of Sun? Because when she said DG, she has her DG. Am I correct?
I'm talking about the Director General of Standards Organization.
Let us know. So
Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwunonso Okeke.
Exactly, so that we know the one that our DG here is doing.
Okay. I'm talking about DG also. He can subsidize our charges.
Exactly.
So he's our Director General, Dr.
Because he's been carrying you along all this while. It wasn't your DG carrying you to all these places. So we need to know which of the DGs.
But our DG is the one that gave us vehicle that made us to follow him.
All right.
Yeah. I also want to, because I wouldn't want the situation that our listeners will limit certification to Sun. Because certification is generic. As far as the export promotion process is concerned. Okay. If Sun satisfies you, have NAFDAC certified you, if your product demands NAFDAC registration, which is also part of the certifications. Another major certification is also to have a certificate to export, which is from the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, because no matter the kind of good product, if Sun have satisfied you, if NAFDAC has satisfied you, and you are not registered as an exporter, you will only be giving people product to go and sell for you or in another country. You wouldn't have that kind of mandate to push those products in your name and get all the credit and make all the dollars and so on and so forth. So when we're talking about certifications in export as part of export, we should be looking at holistically all the necessary certifications that each particular product needs, either from Sun, either from NAFDAC, and obtaining export certification. And let me use the opportunity to also announce that His Excellency had approved that, assuming you're interested in what we're talking about, and you have a product and you do not have an export license, you can come to the agency and we'll register you free of cost. So that at least you have that. It's a good
thing you brought that up.
Yes.
We that want to export, we don't have that product yet, but we know we will. We'll go register now. I mean, now that it's free, we'll now register, begin to source you understand?
When we come, we discuss good. But another information I also need to give is that if you are interested in export and you need an export license, there are two approaches to it. You can export as a group, maybe as a cooperative, having a cooperative license. Okay. With that cooperative license, we should be able to register you free of costs. And or you register as a limited liability company. Okay. You do not get export license as a business name. No. You have to have a limited liability company. And it is also exciting to announce for that His Excellency's approval covers even the registration for the limited liability company. If you're interested to have a limited liability company, maybe you're interested in export and you don't have a limited liability company, we will pay for the registration for the limited liability company and also pay for the registration of the export license. If you want to come as a group and register as cooperative, we'll also pay for the cooperative registration and give you a certificate, and use that certificate to give you a export license. So it's a very broad-based.
So what if you've had a limited liability company, but it's been dormant because
you activate?
You activate.
Yes, because a limited liability company, to the best of my knowledge till now, does not expire.
No, it doesn't.
But
I'm looking at the area of taxation, tax clearance and all that.
Yeah,
if it's been dormant.
You are reporting yourself.
No, I'm just asking for those who
are...
a
company and you've not been paying tax to us.
No, what I'm saying is that it's been dormant because you've not been doing any business with it. That's what I'm saying. If you have something like that.
You have been evading the tax payments.
No, that is not invasion. What I'm saying is that you've had a registered... See, there are people like that. You registered a company some years back, but for one reason or the other, you've not been able to use that limited liability company to export anything. You understand? That means you've been out of business.
Let me address that issue.
Yes.
If there are no activity, normally those who calculate annual returns base it on the volume of transactions.
Exactly.
So if there are no activities, the reactivation will just be minimal kind of thing.
What he's trying, they're not like EBBC.
They are not like
cut your lights and be billing you. That's what you say.
That is the clarification that we need, because there are people that fall under that category. You understand?
Just come up with your certificates
of incorporation.
If it's a disability, we'll now use it to
reactivate you.
Reactivate you for this thing and now give you an export license. These are very important, so that we just want to draw our attention to the need for us to focus on these areas, because it will help us to boost production and help us to this thing. And if you are not actively in business, you can also set up this. There's some of the things I'm preaching this time around, that if you have this fund, instead of allowing this fund to lie in the bank and have our brothers homing around us, we can get them trained and set them up and supervise them. You know, because sometimes we have this attitude that if it is not me that is doing it, not the thing. But you are so busy you cannot do it. And that's not enough for you to abandon business completely. And you also understand that even that job where you do may not last forever. So the earlier you also use the opportunity of the fund you have currently and have a business established. What I'm trying to encourage is that people in the media, for instance, who are busy working night and day, who may not have the time, people in the banks, people who are busy by the nature of their work, can also establish a little business, including that of export businesses.
No, there was a question Amaka asked.
And that's why this training is very important.
Yes, there was a question you asked Amaka that she was not able to, she didn't get to that before the DG came in, on issue of preservation of when you have a lot of products and a lot of it goes to waste.
Yeah, this
and
is
looking
also
at
tied to what I really want him to point, what I wanted to say to him, because the truth of the matter is, I am sure if I ask the other members of Sunrise Crew that we are not seeing, if they would love to export, a whole number of them would say yes. What would you want to export? They might have an idea or two. How do you go about the processing? They don't know. Okay, which is why I was saying we need to have a training hub. It's not enough to let people know these are things that we want to do. I was traveling to Akwanga one of those days, and man, the mangoes were busy wasting. And I'm thinking, why do I have to buy processed mango juice when they are fresh mangoes? But how do I, preserve them? That's why we need to have that facility where we can walk in, and we have a variety of training options to choose from. And that's again back to my question on preservation. But I think that question is more for it's not a question and a suggestion. I was just talking about the certification and how accessible it is. I think she has done justice to that. What she didn't do justice to is the drawbacks to why some people might not be able to really get a SUN certification. But now it's beginning to look like it's a whole lot, because you've mentioned NAFDAC, you've mentioned the
it's not just
export.
about it's not about
the
SUN.
reality is that a particular product may not need all this. For instance, there are products that may not need NAFDAC and SUN at the same time. I hope I'm correct. You know what I'm saying? So
is there a product that doesn't need NAFDAC certification now?
No, it is. If it's not edible,
yes, if it's not edible,
it doesn't need NAFDAC certification.
Okay.
So it is only products that are edible. So I think let me say that we will be addressing the issue raised on training, because this thing borders on this exposure and training.
Exactly.
I would, as soon as we step out of this place, we'll try to package. It is a monthly training, and I want to assure you that whatever we do in the platform of the agency must be free. You know what I'm saying? We will package a free training programs, which will also help us to cover and advertise, so that people know about it. So we will package a training program, even if it's going to be monthly, to ensure that some of these realities, people get to know it and ask the relevant questions. A lot of people may be, you know, a kind of trying to raise some issues. They don't have that opportunity of even trying to seek for clarifications in this kind of program. So take it from us that by God's grace, we will work out a training program that will get people more exposed. But I'm aware that it is product based. Whether you are going to SON or going to NAFDAC is product based. There are products that may not even need NAFDAC and SON at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And may also be exportable. So these are some of the issues and clarifications that we also need to be doing during the training.
Okay, now trying to round it up. You've been in Ebonyi State for a while now, having worked in other states. I'm talking about the coordinator of SON here. What would you advise Ebonians to go into more in terms of exports, considering the state and what our strong point when it comes to production? Or what do you think that people should look into more outside hotels and filling stations?
Okay, I can say the major challenge we are having here in Ebonyi is this issue of industrialization, as we have been saying. Because when you want to talk about production, nearness to raw material is number one. So we should look into what is Ebonians producing. That's what are they cultivating? What are the major raw materials available in Ebonyi? Looking at that, we now go into production of such. Like, I know we are good in gari.
Cassava.
I used to hear gari okwo or gari okwo. Such can be exported. Such can be packaged in a way that you can even export it. It's not putting it in basin, using cup to measure. You can package such product and they come into market. So we look basically on what we have. It's challenging that what we have in Ebonyi here is water, bread. That's the industries we have in Ebonyi. We don't have major industries in Ebonyi, which I believe the key factor there is the mineral content in the water, groundwater. Ebonyi is rich in minerals. They are groundwater. And for you to produce, you have to treat the water. And what it takes to treat this water, in order for you to use it for production, the cost, increase the cost of production. So I've talked with DG MSME, that government need to come into play here to work on the water boards. Because really, from our inspection, we are seeing the water in Ebonyi State is affecting manufacturing sectors. If they can work on the water board so that they can be lifting water from the water board, it will be an advantage to manufacturers. So the government should look into the water board, especially the bakeries. When you analyze their products, the bread, you see that some of them are coming out with high content of this mineral, which have made, it was only few bakeries, especially the fast food that have this water treatment line, that were able to certify their product. But all these bakeries in Ebonyi State, we are not yet able to certify their product because of the high level of all those minerals in their bread. So the government should equally play on the aspect of water, providing water for manufacturers in Ebonyi State.
What is the danger in that? Because bread is a very common food that people take. What is the danger? Because the whole essence of this program is we highlight a problem and then provide solution. Now, what is the danger in that if the water board doesn't come up as fast as possible? Because a lot of people don't even know this. I'm getting this information about bread now, and it's quite scary to me. I love bread, and now I don't even know which one is certified and which is not certified. Now, what is the danger inherent in consuming such bread?
Okay, you know, the danger in consuming all those things are the accumulation of those substances in our system. Because bread is a day-to-day product that we consume in our homes. Yes. And the accumulation of something like this ash causes liver problem. But seriously, the master bakers in Ebonyi State are working seriously in order to come into, they were the one that suggested that we should carry this message to the government. And I am bringing the message to DGSME because it's closer to the government, that they should work on the water board, because it got to an extent that they were trying everything possible to see what they can do. They have to go down to Enugu State to buy water from Enugu State to produce, to see the difference from bread they produce from Ebonyi water and the bread from Enugu State. And it went well with the one from Enugu State. So they were like, if there is something that can be done to the water board, that they will be happy to do, because the cost of installation of water treatment plants is not easy, that a minor baker can do in his factory for him to produce.
So he actually needs the water board.
They need the water board. Then secondly, coming to Afibo, that even after treating their water, the water still come out with high acidity level. We have done justice to that, because all of them have installed a dosing tank that neutralize the pH. Okay. So that one has been settled, except few that are still proving stubborn to do that, which...
so what do you do in situations like that, where there are those who don't want to be compliant to health issues?
It comes into that enforcement we are talking about. We are liaising with our ICD sector to come down, because I used to tell them that Ebonyans need quality product. And if you are not ready to turn out a quality product to Ebonyans, you have to close the business. We will help you close the business if you don't want to do the right thing. So we are working with our ICD sector to come into Afibo to carry out enforcement and close those people that don't want to treat their water, so that the acidity level of the water will not come into their finished product. The majority of them, 90% of them, have started dosing along the treatment line. And we have our DG, in fact, we have to give kudos to our DG, because he brought down so many testing equipment to Ebonyi State. In our office there, in Cabinet Office, we have a gigantic block testing machine that we are using to test blocks in Ebonyi State. Then he brought out testing kits for water. It was with the these kits that we were able to discover that there is acidity, high level of acidity in Afibo water. Okay. Then we went down to Afibo last month and tested most of this water, and they have conformed to standards. And we have told them to key into what we call product identification, is a part of certification for sachet water. Okay. So we have told them, those people that their product have passed, to key into that, while we are working with ICD to see that those people that refuse to conformed to the standards.
All right, Dr. Steve, just your final take on what we should expect going forward. You've promised us training and all that. What are we expecting from your agency going forward, as a way of saying bye-bye for today?
Yeah, I want to thank you for the opportunity, and I want to assure you, like, we've made a commitment on the training. I also want to assure you that we'll move further in terms of collaborations. The issue of water is with the Ministry of Water Resources, and it's also a Ministry of Government. It is not something that we'll begin to talk on air. I want to assure you also that as soon as we finish this program, we'll make some commitments to ensure that they're also properly briefed on what they expect to do. It may not be issue of negligence, it may just be issue of not really knowing that certain issues. So whatever the Ministry of Water Resources will also need to do, I'm sure my governor is not a person that will sleep over something that will affect the health and the good of Ebonyi State. I believe that if we would do the necessary, put up the necessary information to him, he will do the needful. So, and like I said, Ebonyi State should expect something good from us, something progressive. And I also want to assure you that this movement will continue. We try to extend it to other relevant agencies of the federal agencies within the city. So if you give us more opportunities, we'll be bringing in more people to talk to us on how we can make progress. Thank you.
Absolutely, and that is where we are going to be wrapping it up today for this segment, where we looked at the export promotion strategy in Ebonyi State. And like you've heard, a lot of silent issues has propped up, and of course you can be sure that Sunrise crew will not rest on it all. So we are going to be picking it up from here next week to look at other relevant agencies that has to, you know, be on deck to ensure that Ebonyans get everything quality. I want to say a very big thank you to Dr. Stephen Odo, the DG, Ebonyi SME Development Agency. Sir, thank you for being on the program today. and also the engineer, Mrs. Mary Rose Ugweche, the State Coordinator, Standard Organization of Nigeria. Ma, it's a pleasure to have you in the studio today.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us. And of course, Amaka.
Yeah, I do hope that when Dr. Stephen begins to speak with other agencies, that he also gets to speak with the Ministry of Agriculture. You know, when she was talking, she mentioned quality of our products, so we'll know where to source seeds. Since, I mean, there are lots of, it says organic seeds, organic manure, and all of that in the market. Farmers who are interested in export will need to know where exactly to get what. And please, I think the most important thing is to look in words. Can we borrow that quote, you know, from America? Do not ask what America will do for you. Ask what you do for America. So let's borrow it and bring it back home. Do not keep asking what is government bringing to the table, all right? What exactly are you willing to put on the table? And that thing you're looking for in Sokoto is actually right there in your Sokoto. I'm a farmer. I need to go to my farm right now and speak to my farmer. But export this for, yeah, you understand? So let's begin to look at what we can make do for ourselves and for generations coming after us. My name is Amaka Izichwe. Thank you for your time this morning.